So this is the final episode, for the sake of argument, or the final part of me putting the electronics in the base that I made in the very first video, part one of me making my nightlights. Now, part three of the assembly process is going to be me actually making one of the lenses. And then hopefully what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a really short video of me doing the whole thing. One of the reasons I'm putting this whole series of videos out is I want people to understand the level of work that goes into making something that you could probably buy one of these things. I know you can. You could buy something very similar off of Amazon from China for $12 and what have you. This is not one of those products. This is literally art, and it's a one of a kind. And a lot of people nowadays have completely lost touch with craftsmanship and artisanship that goes into making things like this. I mean, when you purchase one of these, you are purchasing literally a one of a kind, a handmade one of a kind art piece that really should last your entire lifetime. And I can't stress enough that you need to see the levels of work that goes into this type of product. Thank you, and thanks for watching. Oh, and be sure to watch all of them and like and subscribe. There you go.
All right. So what I did, excuse me, I have my phone here and I'm watching myself in the camera. I'm trying to get a little bit better camera work. So I put a witness mark inside. There's a witness mark there, a witness mark there. So when they go together, I know what I like. And I like that. Now, I gotta glue these together. Now there's a couple different ways I can do this. And I found that doing it in stages is really the best way to do it. Now, I'm going to wipe this off very carefully, trying not to remove my witness mark. Good old-fashioned gum cutter. Which the vast majority of it is acetone. Acetone, toluene, xylene, oh, menthol, nice. Carbon dioxide, and ethylbenzene. Why not drastically shorten my life just a little bit more? And this is a clean paper towel. I should be using like some kind of lint-free something or other, but paper towels work relatively well. Now, the irony here is I have to let this dry a good bit. If you're not familiar with CA glue, one of the things that makes CA glue get hard pretty much instantaneously is latex gloves. I found that out the hard way. And this stuff, well, this stuff contains acetone too, and water. There's all kinds of different things. Now, again, remember kids, you want to thread the light through the part first. And then I'm just going to take a look through down here. I am going to take a Q-tip and clean that out. I could tell just it has glass dust in there, and I know from experience that glass dust will create a problem with the CA glue. Okay, now We're gonna put a drop. Yeah, let's see if I can get this open. No. I'm running out of this too. I gotta get more. My preferred CA glue is Starbond. When you buy one of these, get like 10 of these, if not more. Because the only thing that Crazy Glue likes to glue together faster than your fingers is the lid. Not even worth messing with. Okay, now I'm going to put a drop of glue into here. Okay, that ran all the way down. And then we're going to glue the light directly in. And then we're going to give it a little juice. And hopefully that'll work its way down into the hole there. And I'm going to try to keep it level till it hits. That's a ton of CA glue, and it's going to take a while for it to dry. Yeah, it's still floating around in there, so we're going to let it sit for a minute or two. I'm going to leave that sit like that for about an hour. So I'm going to save you an hour of me sitting out here and yammering. Okay, now here we are, several hours later. Because one of the things I learned a long time ago about glue is even if it says that it dries instantly, it doesn't dry instantly. It cures. It takes forever to cure. And herein lies the next truth to that. So I have this glue here. It's called E6000. It's a type of silicone-based glue. As you can see, this tube is well used. I get it at a craft store. It's the only glue that I have found over the last 20 plus years that will reliably glue glass to anything that's not glass. They have glass glue that works really well. That's like it's a UV based glue that works great. Actually, the UV based glue works great for gluing glass to glass. As a matter of fact, I suggest it to anybody that breaks a piece of glass that's non-functional to use that UV glue to glue it together, because you can't remelt glass back together to make the same exact thing. So that's why I tell people all the time, if you break your pipe, it's on you. Only thing I can do is turn your broken pipe back into a marble. So the other thing is this stuff doesn't ever turn yellow. I've never seen it turn yellow. Now the downfall to this stuff, and it is an issue, it is a downfall, is that it takes, in this case, I've had it take literally days to dry. Fully cure. I mean, it'll dry in a couple of hours, but it doesn't actually cure for a day or two. And you can tell it's silicone because you can smell it. It's got that vinegary type stink to it. Now I'm going to put that back in there, and we're going to clock it. And you notice it's upside down still. It's because the this here, where the wire comes out, is not it's not bending the way I want it to. So I'm kind of stuck now for a couple minutes. Now what I can do, actually what I am going to do right now, so I'm going to take this CA glue, just because I'm kind of in a little bit of a rush. I want to get this video up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the CA glue and I'm going to put it around the base here. Making sure to get it on the glass and the wood. And I'm going to put the lid back on the glue. Move the glue away, and then I'm going to give a little squirt of the hardener. See, that hardener is pretty cool because you can watch it. It like instantaneously, like you can see it get hard. And the problem is it doesn't actually get hard all the way through. I could do a explanation, or I could do a visual of it, how it does it, but it doesn't. You know, all it does is form a crust. So like now I can bend this over. Okay. See, this is sticking up just a little bit. I don't want that. So I need to let it dry a little longer. Actually, I could probably do that with it. So what the CA glue is doing is actually holding the glass in, because this stuff is nowhere near dry. As a matter of fact, you can use CA glue as a kind of like a temporary clamp to allow real glue to dry. The CA glue has its place, and quite frankly, its place is not gluing glass to wood. I had a piece fail the other day. As a matter of fact, one of my production prototypes failed. That's why they're production prototypes. Now, I'm going to put some in here. I don't want it to get too close to the edge because I don't want that glue on. I don't want this glue on the outside of the piece at all. Some more on. I'm actually going to sand this excess off once it gets hard. I'm leaning it away from me. You can use the accelerator both ahead of time and then after you're done. That's it. It's still a little. I'm going to throw a little bit of heat on this. You can watch, or you probably can't see it on camera, but I can watch the the hot, can watch the heat shrink will start to get clear, like that. And I'm just going to hold that in place. I'm going to push it down, and then the heat shrink will, there we go. When the heat shrink cools, it bends and stays bent. So that's the one upside to the heat shrink. So when I put it back down, flip it over like that, it's now flat. Okay, there we go. We now have one completed, almost. The next step is to apply the bottom. Let's do that too. Why not? I totally, I almost screwed the pooch on my video here because I forgot to hit record. So what I have here is a piece of pretty flat, straight stainless steel. And this is a piece of 180 grit sandpaper. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of a whack on this, because no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to get these things to not pop up a little bit. And you'll see right there, I just took just a tiny little bit of the insulation off. It doesn't do anything other than make it flat. Now, another thing I gotta really stress is that this thing's not really dry yet. The CA glue that's holding the base on is purely acting as a clamp. It's not, the CA glue does not hold the glass, trust me. I just had a piece come apart. This one actually was completely glued together with CA glue, and I went to clean it last night to take a picture and it popped apart, so I put this stuff on there. The other two pieces that I glued together with this stuff, I pulled on them as hard as I could, and I couldn't get it to come apart. Now, this stuff here is wood cleaner. I buy it from a company called Rubio Monocoat, which is what I'd actually like to put on these, but I don't have any of it left. I don't have any of the Monocoat left. All I have is the wood cleaner. And this stuff is really neat. So just because I think it's really cool, I'm gonna wipe the bottom of this, right? I'm gonna wipe the bottom here. And you see there's dirt on it. And I'll wipe it again. There's less dirt. I'm gonna wipe it again. Give it a little blow off. And there's like no dirt on there, right? You take this wood cleaner, which I thought was poppycock. You put this stuff on. It smells like dry cleaning solution, some form or another of now banned, whatever the replacement for Carbon Tet was, is what it smells like. And then I'm going to wipe it again with this wood cleaner. And it's probably not going to show up on camera, but this has actually got, you can see it if you look at it with your eyes, you can see that it just brings another layer of dirt out of it. Another layer of dirt that you didn't realize was even there. So somehow or another, it sucks the dust out of the wood like magic. Now the downside to this stuff is it does take a little time to dry, but that's okay. We got a little time here. Oh, I got my nice handy dandy roll of electrical tape. Worked good to hold this one. I have a couple different sizes of pipe for this too. So I have this felt that I bought to put on the bottom of jewelry boxes and anything else actually. It's kind of thick. It's kind of thick, but it's not super duper thick, and it's real flexible, which is got its own downside here. You can see that wood glue, or the wood cleaner absorbs into the wood, so it's going to take a minute or two for this to dry. Actually, you can see it's leaving a wet spot on the paper here. Like I said, I thought that I didn't use Sharpie there because if I run the Sharpie around the outside of this thing, the Sharpie's going to get on the wood, and I don't want that. Now, also you'll notice I still haven't cleaned it, or I still haven't put any treatment on the wood. I don't want to treat any of this. I don't want to finish the wood until the glue is 100% dry. %100% dry. Now, the only thing I don't like about this felt is it does not like to cut. It's a little, this is another one of those, I use it because it works well. I don't use it because I like it. If I had my choice, I would probably use hard felt. This is soft felt on the bottom of these, and in the future I may use hard felt. I don't think, I know I'm going to use hard felt, but I have to find an adhesive that I like. Good old-fashioned contact adhesive is one thing that I can use, but I just don't have any right now. Good stuff, the stuff that you huff. Do you huff glue? Okay. Now, we're gonna expedite this, or expedite this drying. If I didn't want to put this video up today or tonight, I would actually not be doing this. Be doing this right now. That cleaner sucks right into that end grain. I'll let that sit for a second. I used the heat gun at the lowest possible setting to dry that up a little bit quicker. Under normal circumstances, I would have just left that sit for a couple hours and came back and put it, would let that sit for a couple hours and then applied the sticky back. One of the, it's kind of a joke, but it's not really a joke. I read instructions and I try to follow them unless they're completely absurd, and then I won't follow them. And fuck GPS, I won't follow GPS. I always look at a map after I put GPS into anything. Damn things put me in circles more times than I can count. Then what I'm waiting for right now is to see if any more of the cleaner is going to come to the surface, because the cleaner sucked up that end grain something fierce. And that's the other reason I hadn't applied any finish to this, because I know from experience that if I put the finish on, which is going to be oil, and then I try to put this felt on, the felt will peel right off. Like, it won't stick at all. It's like Teflon. I know this looks wet, but the truth of the matter is that there's a knot there, sure there's a knot there. Yeah, so there's a knot. So that's why that's darker. I might give it just another little hit with the heat gun to see if I can drive any more of that off. To see if it will drive off. I think it's actually just burned. Okay, now this stuff, this felt here, again, is really kind of, it's not fun to deal with, but I use it because it works really well when it's not fighting with you. The problem is the felt and the adhesive in the felt have a very tenuous relationship. That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. So when I set the part onto the felt to mark it, the bottom was wet, and apparently the wood cleaner soaked through this. You and I just learned something here. The wood cleaner soaked through the felt and dried the glue. Fascinating. Because this stuff is super sticky. That's why I don't like it. Yep, that's exactly what it did. See, that didn't have any of the wood cleaner on it. And it's like crazy sticky. This, the wood cleaner, soaked through the felt. It soaked through this paper, the backing, and dried the glue. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I mean, that's dry as a bone. And it's also very interesting because now I can see. The other problem with this felt is if you put adhesive on the back of the felt, or if you put adhesive on felt and then you stick it onto something, it bleeds through. I'm curious if I do that, it won't bleed through, but is it still stuck to the felt? I bet you it is. Yeah, it's still stuck to the felt really good. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And a pain in the ass because now I got to cut the felt out again. It's a wasted piece of felt. It's okay. Why do things cost so much? Because I just ruined a piece of felt and all the time it took to make it, only to find out that it wasn't sticky anymore. And the other thing, another thing I could do, and I'm hearing somebody screaming it right now, is just use a razor knife to cut around it. You only have to do it once. Well, internet expert. Yeah, one has a tendency to cut the wood when you do that. Save your criticism for somebody who with no experience. Cutting inside the line here. The other way to do this would be a nice crisp punch, but I do not feel like fabricating a punch for a single piece of felt. Remember, every one of these is one of a kind, so they're all going to be just a little different. So every one of these is going to have the base cut by hand. Again, handmade, one of a kind. Art. Very interesting. It's actually kind of cool. I'm going to note that. for future reference. Yeah, no, this is what I was expecting. Angry sticky stuff. It's angry. It's an angry product. It's not a very joyful or happy product. The other thing with this crap is once you stick it down, you better want it to be where it's at. Okay. Now, here's a little trick. Fairly sure this isn't going to show up on this crap camera. But these are my felt cutting scissors, and they've got felt and glue on them. So I'm going to take the felt and the glue off here with some of that carburetor cleaner, which I love. The only thing I like more than carburetor cleaner is naphtha. Actually, I think I like carburetor cleaner a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do, you can see the felts right there. So I'm going to take some wax. I'm going to put it on my scissors. I used Johnson's floor wax the last time. I want to try this wax this time. And hopefully the wax, the liberal application of wax, will keep the felt glue from sticking to my scissors. These are super sharp scissors too. This felt just does not like to cut. Nah. Alright. Plan B. Plan B works awesome. Plan B works best, actually. That's a little bit extreme, but it'll be okay. Plan B. Now, there we go. One almost complete Uncle Fezzy nightlight, because Uncle Fezzy's afraid of the dark.
Well, kids, thanks for watching.
Now, stay tuned for the next video where I'm actually going to make the lens itself.